Hey guys, um, I don't know if our normal cheery intro is good for this video or not, but so all three of us and some of our Discord members decided that we wanted to do a little bit of a discussion, a little bit of a chat, talking about the Kyoto animation
I guess
incident attack, really.
Yeah.
Um, and So, yeah, we just wanted to talk about it. We'll have our Discord chat up, and we'll bring up some of the guys that wanted to join us.
With that in mind,
First of all, we have Ryusei from Ryusei Reacts here.
Hello. This is. I guess I'm here. Although, like, I'm pretty sure as of right now, I am kind of checked out in terms of reactions. Like, I've actually posted that I'm not going to be doing reactions for at least for the rest of this week, and I'm that mentally checked out. Like, joining
Mm.
like just that my friends too, and to have that happen, I'm just not mentally, up for reactions for the rest of the week.
oh
Hopefully, I'll
yeah,
be back, but for the time being, just no.
yeah,
Except for maybe for one live stream. That's it.
Well, understandable.
totally understandable, man.
Something this big, a lot of people are going to be shook by it. We also have a good close friend of ours, Fantasilian.
Yeah, long time subscriber.
If not from, if not for my mother, he'd probably have fan number one. But he also does reactions and let's play videos. So go check out his channel as well. Fanta, what are your thoughts about this?
Um, well, I was shook. I wasn't. I just like looked at my Twitter on one of my accounts that I follow, and I saw like all these reposts, and I was like, wait, what?
Hmm.
And it took a while for it to actually settle in what was actually happening.
And then, last but not least, we have one of our Discord members. It's time to battle.
Hello? And wow, what a day it has been, really, truly.
Yeah.
And I, like many of you, I woke up. First thing I did was checked out social media. I saw like one of like Giga's tweets from last night about like how he couldn't fall asleep because of this whole thing, and I was just reading through it, and then I was like, okay, there's a fire going on or something, and I read, wait a minute, Kyoto animation? Wait, what? And the whole day just went from there.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Like watching, I guess, given our geographical position, I was on social media trying to get to sleep, but as I watched the story develop and the situation escalate, then reports kind of come about it all, revealing that there was, that was arson, that they have a subject in custody, and just all that. The more I read into it, the harder it was, I guess, to get to sleep or I guess, to start coming to terms with it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, so I didn't hear about this at all until last night. I was on my way to work. I was listening to a stream by Nick Ricada, and one of his chat members brought it up, and I was like, "What?
Mm.
What's what's that about?" And then I started looking at it. I'm like, "Oh God, it's terrible."
There's when I first heard about it, like I was at the point I was just finishing up, and then all of a sudden I'm just looking through Twitter, and just hearing about KyoAni Fire. I'm just like, what? Are you wait? I'm not. This is not some sort of fucking Photoshop shit, right? And as it unfolded, like I was in a state of like denial. Like I had to keep remembering that I'm still in the house filled with other people, that I had to restrain my emotions to a certain point. But I was in a disbelief. I want to look away, but at the same time, it's just so much shock. And then as the news gets worse and worse, I really couldn't. I was just I can't even come up with proper words to say how shook and like just distraught and angry. Like I actually am just like as of right now, like it's to the point where I even question like this fucking idiot, like the guy responsible, why is his mindset of doing that, which I think we're gonna discuss maybe a little bit later that in this recording.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and make a basic rundown of what happened. So what was it? 7:30 our time, 10:30 Japan time. I think it was. Is that right?
Yeah, I saw reports that the fire started at about 10:30 Japan Standard Time.
Some maniac ran into Kyoto Animation's studio.
I believe it's studio number 1.
A 41-year-old grown-ass man, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. And I believe they have it as studio number 1. It's their headquarters building.
Primary studio, yeah.
And if anybody's curious, that building, I believe it's their original one that they were in, but it's
That was their first studio building, yes.
Yeah, it's the building that they had a lot of their administration in, and that's why there was so many directors there.
Yeah.
Because they were having a directors meeting, and I believe they were also having they were going to announce some new talent that they had acquired. That was something that I read. Yeah, so, well, yeah, it's one of the things I want to bring up is, so that building, apparently it's a key card entry. This is something that the three of us can talk about because we're,
kind of a professional perspective.
We've been security guards for the past, 10 years. So this is kind of our area of expertise a little bit. But, so, apparently the building was key card entry.
So you have a reception area up front, where usually a receptionist, an office lady, or even a guard in the building. You check in and they give you an electronic badge, and then you go through the doors.
I don't know why it would be that lax. Like there is no time and places where you can have it that lax, especially that sort of happened.
I think they touched up on that, but let's go ahead and just continue on with.
Let's continue to run down the facts there. No worries.
Yeah, we're kind of going a little too far into the details. So, 41-year-old man runs into KyoAni, starts throwing gasoline or flammable liquid everywhere on the first floor, screaming about plagiarism, I guess.
Well,
and also screaming "die, die, die!" Or does.
Yeah, I think that what I heard is when he was in the studio, he was just screaming "die."
Yeah.
Die, die, die.
Also, I guess before we continue, probably want to maybe lay a little bit of a ground rule here, but try to refrain using the attacker's name if possible. I don't want to give him any more notoriety than he's already obtained.
I actually haven't even seen it released.
Well,
yeah, I don't think we have a name yet, so.
Okay. Well, actually, yeah.
He doesn't deserve a name.
Yeah, there you go.
He really doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Just we are not the security guards who are at that building. Just so you know, Mr. Cartoon Movie Maker. we are nowhere near Japan.
Though we're kind of talking about the situation ourselves again, from the professional perspective, and I think the consensus among us is this actually could have pretty easily been averted with just a marginally, I guess, stricter entry protocol for guests.
Yeah, I want to get back to the security issues, but
Anyway, what was it? 31 people died? 32? 33 people died.
At least that's what we know of so far. There's like another 30 some odd are critically injured.
No.
Right?
There's 36 are injured.
Oh.
I believe 10 of those are critical.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
I think the was it like the Japanese government or the Kyoto Fire Department? Someone's expected to make a major press statement about it tomorrow morning, right?
yeah. Yeah. There's
Evening
gonna
at Japan time or in the morning, yeah.
Well, I'd assume Japan time.
It's probably, I think, past noon, right? Way past noon right now over there, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be getting close to 2 p.m. at this point.
Yeah, I think they were going to make the announcement or the press conference tomorrow morning, their
No.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's very tragic, very
Also,
selfish.
well, okay.
excuse me for a lot of science background. I am this much crushed by that.
Hey, you and I both.
Understandable.
That's part of the reason I think why. I think it's the reason why we all kind of decided to do this, at least just to sort of, air things out, and I think it's a way to kind of get together, and maybe express a little bit of grief here.
It's about something more positive.
Yeah, a lot more happy than this.
Yeah. So, sorry. Somebody asked for us to continue the narrative here.
Okay.
So yeah, for anybody who doesn't know what happened, the guy came in. He started spreading gasoline around, yelling "die," and then I believe they said using a lighter started the fire. I do also want to point out that I've seen reports that he may have chained the exits closed and specifically spread gasoline on the stairways so that people couldn't get down to the exit.
This dude had all the precautionary measurements put in to make sure a lot of people suffer from that.
Right.
Yeah,
You
this is
gotta just wonder what the hell was this guy thinking, dragging innocent people into his shit. Like, I don't know what, but
There's a lot of crazy people in the world, and us, no way.
You gotta question what's their sense of logic, and it can get scary depending on the type of individual.
Yeah. But soon after the reports of the animation studio going up in flames, what was it? Sentai Filmworks?
Yeah, Sentai Filmworks organized a GoFundMe campaign,
Which is what you see on screen.
Yeah, you
That's what
can see on screen here. Let me refresh the page.
And
Yeah, the
I
numbers
guess
are
in a
updated,
bit of
so-
a silver lining to this most tragic situation, it's proven quite successful.
Within 24 hours, they have
Over $1.2 million raised.
almost 1.25.
Yeah, so about it.
Yeah, so I see we have the
1.25.
website up there. And
Do we have that link in the
Yeah, the link's in the description below.
So if you guys don't hear about it, you have the money, go visit that link in the description below, and we've made our donation. We'll probably donate a little bit more as time goes on, but yeah.
I plan to reserve a bit more until I can just make a donation. Like, I'm not exactly someone that's been able to save up to have a lot financially, but I'll try to input something. But as of right now, I can only just really spread the links, spread the word about it. And that's the best I can do, and at least it'll get more people aware of this.
That's another important thing to do. Like if you can't help financially, and not everybody can, and if you're not if you're not able to, don't think that you should put yourself in financial straits to do so. But sharing the link and spreading the word, always helps.
So we are getting questions in the YouTube chat, talking about how do you get inside? Do you have somebody on the inside helping him out, stuff like that? So let's go ahead and talk about that for a second.
Well, as far as we know so far, anyway, the man acted alone, right?
Not necessarily. I've seen conflicting reports on that.
Okay.
But so, well, as far as the security concerns we were alluding to, the building has a keycard entry. I did not see any reports of security on premises, but I think most of what they're worried about with the as far as like keycard entry goes is worried about intellectual theft and maybe some fans getting in there or somebody getting in there and destroying like the property. Not necessarily what happened here. And so one of the things that happened, and this is according to the NHK, is that the key card entry was disabled for that day because they were planning on introducing new talent, and they were going to have a lot of people in the building that were not that were visitors. They didn't have key cards. So the building was actually unsecure at the time.
So in theory, the maniac could have just went up, pulled on the door handle, and entered the building with no real.
Willing to say boot on him, really.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, when we discussed this amongst ourselves earlier, we came to the consensus this could have easily been averted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I'm wondering, like, did this dude just get really, lucky for himself?
How the fucking hell did he know about the
Yeah.
pattern?
Well, yeah, that's my thing. Did this guy just get lucky and happen to do this on the day that they had the building insecure, or did he know?
I think I'd have to think he was, trying to look into actually spy or look into the schedules and all that and see what big events where he can make his fucking big ass pick out who's plan, whatever the shit.
Yeah, it's entirely possible that he was scoping it out for a long, long time and figured out that they leave the building unsecure when they're gonna do stuff like that, because they obviously announced that they were going to be introducing the new talent, right?
Right, because they probably have like a big old press conference or release some sort of press release.
Oh wow, really?
Hmm?
I guess that the guy did send death threats prior to. Well, that's according to chat. I don't know where the reports came from. If you have reports that you
That is confirmed. The president of Kyoto Animation has said they were addressed, and I quote, "They were addressed to our office in the sales department and told us to die." That is from the NHK article on the subject.
But we don't
Right.
know if that's if this correlates or is connected to this guy's plan though.
That is true. Those were anonymous emails.
Oh, Mr. Cartoon Movie Makers. According to news sources, this guy was not actually involved with Kyoto Animation, so it's not a former employee.
Well, even okay. So the whole key card thing, right? Mm-hmm. One standard operation for sites that have key cards here, the key cards are never shut down unless the system goes down. If you're a guest, you're usually given visitor passes. I'd assume that KyoAni decided not to go with a standard security guard to do those duties because they didn't want to afford it.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that.
I'm making an assumption there.
Yeah, it probably has to do a lot with the cultural differences.
Yeah. Okay.
Between here and there.
Actually, Rizzo, when you and I kind of discussed this earlier today, kind of like what you said, that this could be kind of pinned on what you said, a failure of the imagination. Basically, no one in the staff who would decide on such things saw it coming.
I think because they were trying to introduce new talent, I think they want to try to be. This is just my guess. I think they're trying to make it feel more welcoming initially for these young guys, so they can feel more used to it. So it just slowly integrate them into the system, and then they'll be more than ready to go at it. And that might be. I mean, I don't know if that's truly the case as to why security was that lax, but that's what I kind of think may have played a part into it. But I don't know for sure. I really don't know.
I will point out that the difference between, like, say, the U.S. and Japan is that Japan crime rate is relatively low, and looking at some quick research numbers right now, Kyoto is fairly low even in Japan as well. So they probably weren't as concerned about security in Kyoto as they were in some other place like Tokyo or across the pond in Los Angeles or something.
Right, and that kind of gets back to my point of their main security concerns were probably intellectual property theft and the potential of somebody getting into the building when there's less people there and getting in and destroying things.
Kind of just being crazy, rabid fanboys.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, they'd be more concerned about that.
So what DK was alluding to, what I was saying earlier when me and him were talking about it, I was quoting, I don't know if it's the actual quote from the actual guy, but it's from the HBO series From the Earth to the Moon. It's a quote from Frank Borman in the Apollo 1 Fire episode. And basically they're looking to pin blame on somebody, and what he says in that there is that the actual cause was a failure of imagination, which is to say that they never imagined that something like this could happen, and the failure was at a lot of points. Which is kind of what I believe as far as the security issues go.
Yeah.
So because of the whole stats and all that, they didn't think all of a sudden somebody's just gonna go in like that, going in like that. It's kind of, I can kind of see how that, I could kind of see that, honestly. And
Yeah.
It's a shock.
Oh yeah, it's a huge shock.
I mean, the last time, any sort of like mass murder, even close to this scale, happened was the knife attacks in Akihabara a few years back.
Yeah, they are saying that this is the worst mass murder incident in Japan in the past 18 years.
I've heard since post-war Japan.
Well, so the only one that tops it was the theater fire, right? That had 44 people die, I believe. But that one, they think it's arson, but I don't think it was ever actually proved to be arson, which is why you get the it's the worst ever in post-war Japan, or it's the worst in the past 13 years or whatever it's been.
Oh, we got some info here in our YouTube chat. Namiko says, I live in Japan. Sorry for my poor English. According to today's news in Japan, he brought gasoline, knives, and a hammer. So even if security did work, he could have tried to break down the door and get inside.
In that case, he probably didn't know that the security was lax.
Yeah.
It was probably precautionary measures. I mean, you had this.
Just unlucky timing on KyoAni's part, I guess.
Lucky timing for him, unlucky timing for KyoAni's part.
Mm-hmm.
Man, just a lot of, I guess, little things that,
This is,
I guess could have been rectified for this, but they just weren't on this day.
and what you guys kind of just explained was the security thing. That this could have been totally preventable if they took more precautionary measures, but because of everything with the backgrounds regarding crime rates, and then the whole thing with the introducing the the potential for young staff members. It's just really bad. It was just the worst case. Bad luck there.
Mr. Cartoon Movie Makers, I was referring to the theater fire in the early 2000s. 44 people died there.
Yep.
33 people died here in the Kyoto Animation Fire.
Like, what were the notable deaths that any particular names? I don't quite remember.
Well, there haven't been any actual confirmations
Yeah.
on
Hearsay at the
who's.
moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of hearsay, and I don't necessarily want to add fuel to that. I guess that's a really bad saying for that.
Yeah, because there was this one director, I forgot his name, who was reported dead, but of course you say it's a hearsay, and he was the one. He was the one that directed episode 9 of Violet Evergarden, which I thought that one sequence was beautiful, by the way, which I would love to go into detail about, but I don't think we have time for that.
No.
Yeah,
I don't say that.
yeah. There was reports.
Use the word arson. Yeah.
Well, so there was reports that, man, I'm forgetting the guy's name. Let me try to pull it up without messing up our.
Mention the shows or something. Maybe I'll remember the name.
Well, so he was the director for both the Full Metal Panic series that Kyoto Animation did.
So the first one in Fumu,
He
right?
directed Hyoka. He directed The Disappearance of Ari Suzumiya, the movie.
Right.
Those two Rizzo mentioned, really great shows. I fucking recommend it. Like,
Well, when I was seeing reports of his death, it actually really affected me because a lot of those shows that I mentioned, that he did were things that when I first started getting into anime, those were the shows that I watched. Full Metal Panic,
Right.
Fumafu, and the Second Raid. So I mean, it's not really an exaggeration to say that, he's directly responsible for things that were very, very impactful to me when I was a teenager and a young adult.
Just getting into this whole anime thing.
Yeah.
for my part, I cannot say KyoAni was the thing that really got me into anime first, but it was one of those shows that really made me start loving anime, like what the potential when they get really good, because I could go on about why the animation quality, especially starting from Hyoka and then moving forward, how the visuals just say more than what other studios can do. I mean, not trying to downplay other studios, but it's just so much that KyoAni does, and it's sad that not a lot of people recognize the visuals do a lot more of the talking than you initially think, and it's sad that that a lot of that talent has is just been has just been killed off by this incident. That's really upsets me.
So I just pulled it up. The director's name is Yasuhiro Takamoto.
Oh.
He directed Amagi Brilliant Park.
Air is pretty big.
Well, he did some. He did an episode of Air. He did an episode of Chunibyo. He did episodes of Clannad.
Oh boy.
He directed both the Full Metal Panic series that KyoAni Animation did.
Hyoka.
He did Hyoka.
Storyboard episode of Inuyasha.
He did some episodes of K-On! Canon. He's the director of Kobayashi Sanchino Maid Dragon.
Oh, Anonymous has mention of
A few episodes of Lucky Star.
He did a few episodes of Lucky Star, a few episodes of Nichijou. Basically, pretty much every project that KyoAni Animation's done, he's had a hand in. But yeah, I was really, I was honestly really upset to hear. Well, I mean, obviously there's no confirmation yet, but he is one of the directors that's still missing, and I think at this point that's not a good sign.
When I first heard that he died, or at least the report that may have not been true that he died, my blood ran cold.
Yeah.
That's a legit feeling, guys, when your blood runs cold because someone that has really had an impact on you on the stuff you watched that has really moved you, and to have the guy possibly be dead, and just like it's not a good feeling. Like we try to hide it when we in front of other people, especially people that might not seem to be as associated, but it really has an effect on us. Like people might be like those idiots that don't know about anime, just like, why would you care about so much? Because then we have to ask the same for you, like with your shows. I mean, the guy has done so much work, and like you have to think like how much he like not just him, like all the KyoAni staff that contributed one way or another. But man, like,
yeah, I mean, well, sorry, Rio. Yeah, it's just it hurts like on two fronts, really. I mean, first of all, this is, as we said, a very senseless, cowardly, despicable attack on an office just full of people going about and doing their job. That's horrible no matter what the setting, but it hurts doubly so when it's a studio that's been a stalwart of this art medium we love so much, and that just hurts extra.
And not just that too, but KyoAni Animation is really the, I've seen it described as the shining example of what studios should be.
Watch Violet Evergarden, you gotta agree with that
well,
statement.
not only that, but KyoAni Animation.
Other studio, how they treat their staff.
Yeah, KyoAni Animation is, I think, the only studio that really treats its staff well, like really well. Like, all the employees are in house. They don't do the. A lot of other studios contract employees so that they can pay them really shitty wages.
Right, like outsourced from like Korea and Vietnam.
Or outsource them like with the One Punch Man season 1 thing. So.
Right.
those animators are often paid by the frame and not by salary, like Kyoto Animation's doing. So
Right.
Right.
But so yeah, it's just man.
Like there's a I heard that this particular studio building also had a like child
What?
care center.
Yeah, like a daycare center for employees with young families.
Yeah,
Which
Like,
is very
the-
rare in Japan. On the way.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. A nursery involved in.
yeah, and I mean that's saying something to the goodwill of Kyoto Animation. That there is
Also,
such a
also
place in
a
Japan.
tomato garden. I think that was called. Like they were going to pick the tomatoes that day, and yeah.
I can only hope that none of the actual victims were children.
I really hope so.
I really hope so. Damn.
Killua in the chat, they truly inspire to help people across the world with the beautiful art. It really, I can't
And-
say that any better, man.
Yeah, and I mean, you can definitely tell that by, I mean, look at the outpouring of support on the GoFundMe.
Which we must reiterate, we have a link to in the description of our stream, and we also have
it's on screen right now as
just up
well
there.
too. So
Exactly.
$1.25 million raised by 38,954 people in one day.
And you know what? Good on you. Good on
Anime,
every single one of you.
MVP. You're the MVP.
Yeah, major shout out to all the donors, and we've all kind of, we did our bit as well. Big shout out to Sensei Filmworks helping organize this, and also as another means of fundraising, particularly if you're a fan of Free and Hibike Euphonium, Kyo Animation themselves sell prints on their website. For I think about
Well, yeah, they're like digital
prints.
Digital prints.
So if you want to get money right to them, then you can look into that.
A little note. I've watched EBK Forums Great Series. I haven't really gotten to Free yet because I'm not really that much into sports series, but I might get into it a little later. Like hopefully when
Well, as far as those two series go, I watched Hibiki Euphonium, which was a pretty entertaining series, and I watched like 2 episodes of Free. It really was not my cup of tea. It's a Fujoshi show.
But still, great visuals.
Watched it, Rizzo.
Okay, guys in chat, these guys don't like Fujoshi shows. Bottom line. Like, they don't feel
I'm-
comfortable.
I'm just saying
If
it
it was-
doesn't have a lot for me to get excited about. If you know what I mean.
This is why they don't like banana fish. Rizzo.
No children were on site duty in meeting. Okay.
Zero will be fuming in the background.
What was that?
I was just looking at the news chat on Discord right now. Apparently, no children were on site due to the meeting that was supposed to happen.
Oh, thank God.
Anonymous said.
Thank fuck.
No show on site is
Because if it was, I would just be. Lit.
Mouse. That is
Well,
the
it
best
just
news
make
I've heard
this-
today.
It would just make this maniac even more of a lunatic madman.
He's not. He's not. You can't even call.
No.
You can't even call him.
It.
He doesn't consider a parasite. I would call him a virus strain, and that's even a reach.
And like to the motive of it, I actually think that the motive does matter. Because there are people in chat asking about the actual motive. He was, according to some of the reports, he was pissed off at the studio for calling a character by a certain.
Well, I've seen some conflicting reports on that. So, according to witnesses, apparently he was yelling something to the effect of "You stole it," or something like that.
Yeah,
Which immediately made, like, the first reports made people think that he believed that KyoAni plagiarized his work. However, I've also seen reports that he was train otaku, and it has something to do with Hibike Euphonium. Yeah, no, like dead serious. Somebody said something in chat about it.
I saw some tweets on it.
Oh, yeah, like it interrupted his commute or something.
The only moves the guy
Interrupted.
supposedly had, or he created a term for photographic scenery with trains.
Huh.
The term was barusaku. And there's a
Some character in Hibike Euphonium got the nickname Bar Sax for saxophone, but sax is pronounced saku.
For that little.
Yeah,
yeah. It would be like me going after. It'd be like me going after the studio who did actually a whole ton of works because the name Zero. Like I've been nicknamed Zero for like 20 years now, but I'm not. You know, it's just a word.
Right.
Keep in mind, this is like stuff that we're just seeing on Twitter. Is not actually confirmed yet, but
right. None of that's actually confirmed. That's just hearsay.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, and this brings up another, I guess, silver lining in it all. With the subject in custody, hopefully we can get a little bit more information on that as the days go by.
yeah.
I hope he doesn't get a lawyer. He doesn't deserve a lawyer. No, he's all on his own.
I mean,
Yeah, I agree with Mouse in our Discord chat. That's true. I mean, it's an incredibly petty reason. I mean, it's
When you're
there
crazy,
is no
though,
reason.
there's
There
no
is no
reason.
reason to actually go so far as to try to burn building to the
That-
ground. There is no reason at all.
Sorry, Zero. That would be the. This sounds like how he reasons me. That would be the equivalent of me wanting to wreck an entire store just because I bought that was actually already expired and I didn't know about it. But that would be on my part. But that would be for the illogical, stupid, like nonsensical reason. Like for something little as for as that, and you want to just go and say go to hell to everyone in the associated store or association organization, whatever. That's just selfish. That is just that is that is just like just your own ego. Just whatever, regardless of whatever twisted mindset you got. I don't care if you're a sociopath or got mental issues. That could have been preventable. You could just handle. I don't know. Like this thing, what he did, like regardless of the reasoning, is just wrong. He involved innocent people in this.
Actually, speaking of that, we have someone in our chat here. Go ahead, Rizzo.
So one player in our YouTube chat, the username one player, asked, "Do you people think the guy is going to be hanged?"
Without a doubt.
Which, if nobody, if somebody doesn't know, in Japan, the method of capital punishment is death by hanging.
Yeah, long drop method.
Yeah, long drop method. And also, I should point out, if somebody is on death row, they're put into isolation, and they're basically left there until, I believe, 72 hours before their execution.
In which
they're
case,
notified of it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
No visits from lawyer or family or nothing.
well,
Could be anywhere from
limited visits.
limited visits, you say? Oh.
Yeah.
But
Yes, and the statistics shows that for murders with over 3 or more victims, 79% of the time, it's death sentence.
He definitely qualified for that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The only
Not get out of that.
the only thing that might get him out of it is a insanity defense.
Which is stupid, by the way.
I don't know, considering, again, like, other, I guess, mass murders, which, again, in a low crime rate country like Japan are extremely rare. This incident will stand out too much. There are too many aggravating circumstances to counter any mitigating circumstances that could spare his life.
Presidency,
If this goes to trial, he's going to hang.
I
Simple
mean,
as that.
he does have a previous criminal history, though.
Right. Mouse in our Discord chat just posted the 41-year-old man was charged and imprisoned in 2012 for robbery of a store at knife point. And he was identified by police by way of his driver's license. So, which actually is something that I realized that we forgot to touch up on. So the guy ended up getting burned himself. And he was, I believe, I saw reports that he was followed by a Kyoto Animation employee.
Oh.
And then arrested. So he did not get away.
Wait, he did not get what?
He
didn't
did
get
not
away at all.
He did not get away.
Yeah, he was caught in the act, basically.
Yeah.
Well,
But
Yeah.
nope. No point in him draining people tax money for 30 years. Just hang the guy. Yep, I totally fucking agree. There's no way, no way he should get an insanity plea. No way. There should be no chance of that happening. Insanity plea is subjective too. They could be lying about insanity for the insanity plea too. By all means, it's
Well, I think it's-
very much possible.
I think it's part of the reason
Depends on-
why.
Yeah, it depends on how psychologists in Japan handle it. But I don't know about that, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say too much about it.
Yeah, I actually don't know if there's like a full-on, like a lengthy appeals process in Japan for capital cases like there is in the United States. Because in the U.S., capital punishment cases are automatically appealed to the Supreme Court. But I don't know exactly how they do it in Japan, but I think the process is a bit more expedited than it is here.
Yeah, there is an appeal process. Average time spent on that process is about 5 years from what
That's about a
Mouse
third of the
told me
time.
earlier.
Yeah, that would be about a third on average what it is here, so much quicker.
Yeah.
Killua says we can't let him win this. Here's the sad part about this Killua. I think he already won by causing that much damage, which is infuriating for me personally, because he did the damage already by killing off that sort of talent. Like you can try to replace the talent with proper training, but that would take years. That would take years at least, and you cannot replace the lives that were lost. He did his damage, but regardless, he has to pay for his shit.
That is true, but I don't think he so much won anything. The dude lost in life a long time ago. He caused a horrific tragedy. Is I think again, kind of keeping the spirit of not giving this fucker any more notoriety than he's obtained. He caused a very senseless and avoidable tragedy, and I think that's how we should look at it. And now he's in custody, and he faces the noose.
Yeah.
So
Likely faces the noose, yeah.
fair, yeah.
And from what I can tell just from the little bits and pieces that we're getting, like, he's been in the rehab home, but he has no fixed abode since then, which tells me he either doesn't have a family or his he's not well connected with him. So he's a loner.
Well, okay. I don't know exactly how much detail I want to go into this. I have family that's at least seems very similar to this. I do have an uncle who's been in and out of prison. And I mean, you don't really want to associate yourself with a dude because he's a whack job. He just likes being drunk all the time. He likes being high all the time. He's not a good dude to be around.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess my point is just that he has zero support system that could steer him away from any of this.
Right.
That's
He
just-
spent his life basically, burning bridges.
Oh,
It-
okay.
And
So
you just
I,
got to a
so I
certain
see
point.
something in chat.
Mhm.
Tokusaki Aki took the news of the KyoAni tragedy quite bad. She broke down in a morning
Imagine
talk
so.
radio show today. She expressed how career-changing her role as Hirosaki Yui was, and took the chance to give an emotional tale to KyoAni. So Yui is so much love, by the way, in K-On, if you have not watched it already. And I can really feel it.
I see that smirk, Rizzo.
I mean, I don't really like that character archetype, but
Well, I can imagine how the studio, shaped her career.
well, I mean, pretty much all of the seiyuu from K-On, that was their breakout role.
A lot of actors have their defining roles in there, huh? Yeah.
Their careers got launched by that show. Honestly.
Hmm. I mean, Tomokazu Sugita, one of my all-time favorites,
Oh yeah,
Keon.
in
And
the
Gin.
Haruhi series.
And,
There's also who was this? Yoko Hika.
Yoko Ikasa as
Yeah,
Mio.
Yoko
Yeah, she
Hikasa.
actually goes on and voices guys like Ria's from High School DxD. Who else? She actually. Let me see. Give me a sec.
Aya Hirano, right?
She actually voices Diana from Little Witch Academia. She also voices what else is there? She also voices Lather from I think Lather from Iron Blooded Orphans. She also
Yeah, she's done a lot of
did
roles.
Stephanie from No Game No Life.
Oh, her.
Oh, yeah.
That was actually one of my favorite of her roles. It was so different. But yeah, so Yoko Hikasa, Satomi Sato, who did Ritsu and K-On,
Aya Hirano,
who did Haruhi.
and
But yeah, a lot of those.
actually didn't.
I'd imagine that we're probably going to hear a bunch of accounts of, the seiyuu being really, similar accounts to the one that we see of Aki Toyosaki here.
I also see Stephen Lowe. Let's hope the studio will be back as soon as recovery is okay. I mean, the outpouring of support for KyoAni has been absolutely massive.
Yeah, and speaking of recovery efforts, the again, as Rizzo brought up earlier, the building intact was called Studio Number 1, which serves as an administrative headquarters for the company. But they have a secondary studio where most of the animation actually takes place, if I remember correctly, and also warehouses where footage is archived. So when it comes to say future productions, a big example, Kobayashi-san, Maid Dragon Season 2.
Violet Evergarden movie.
And Violet Evergarden movie, yes. I don't think those productions will be affected.
The free movie that's going to coincide with the Olympics.
Oh, right, yeah. So,
according to something that I saw, the Violet Evergarden movie and the free movie are not expected to be delayed because of this.
Thankfully so.
So
I'm looking forward to that movie.
yeah, so going way back in chat where people are like, "Oh, I hope the animation industry is okay." The industry is going to be fine. KyoAni, they're going to be fine.
yeah, that was
just
Well, I mean, they're probably going to be set back quite a bit, but
yeah.
I don't think that this is
With
going
time and
to
capital,
destroy
they
the
can
company.
move past this.
yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be able to move past this. Kyo's a great studio. So
Stay strong, KyoAni. We with you.
Amen to that.
the suspect is under anesthesia, so police will commence further investigation when he wakes up. Yeah, I mean his burns were so bad that his
Second degree burns, I believe it was stated.
I almost wish that they didn't put him in under anesthesia.
Well, to be fair, it'd be kind of hard to get coherent testimony and confessions and all that stuff when the guy's screaming because of burns.
Yeah.
So,
I hope he never wakes up.
After you get the confession.
I hope he
Yeah.
never wakes up. That's a bit like.
Well, I mean, he kind of needs to wake up because I want answers.
I think a lot of people want a lot of
yeah,
answers,
That's true, Zero. My bad.
or at the very least, just like somewhat of a reason why.
Yeah. Or want to hear his name like once, his motive, and then we can bury him in the obscurity that is history.
Or at,
All
least,
right.
or at least try to hear out what kind of bullshit he's trying to pull off, and try to make some sense out of it, which I probably won't have.
Oh yeah, I forgot. So yeah, there's 3 other projects besides those 2 films.
Mm-hmm.
There's Violet Evergarden Gaiden, which is a spin-off series. Dragon Maid Season 2 and Euphonium Season 3. And those 3 series almost certainly will be delayed.
Yeah. Since they don't
At least by a
date
season or
yet
2,
before
right?
Especially if it turns out that the director of the director's passed.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of There'd be a lot of creative decisions to make, kind of going forward.
Yeah.
Actually, hearing that again, like in the actual animation studio, wasn't really involved, or archive footage wasn't destroyed and all that. Actually, alleviated a pretty big concern of mine, because at first I'm like, oh no, I thought that the building attacked was like the only building they had, but thankfully I learned it wasn't. If this happened to, like, say, a comparatively smaller studio, it could have taken that studio just out of commission completely. Because anime studios, by and large, are not really big companies. KyoAni has like a total of 130 some odd employees total.
Is there a comparison to some studio in America? Like how big or small? Like, what's the precise comparison there? I don't have no real clue on that one.
Well,
how many studios does Disney have, I wonder, around the country?
They've basically taken over like Anaheim. Like I saw like one of their office buildings in Burbank, and that alone is like several times the size of the KyoAni building. And I think that's just, again, an admin, like one admin office. So,
according to Mouse, they have 4 buildings: main office, Studio 1, which is the building that was attacked, Studio 2, and Studio 5.
Employed around 130 people.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think animation studios here are far, like, they're not as employed. Like they don't have that number of employees. I'm not sure exactly how large like Rooster Teeth or Funimation is, but I'd imagine they're about the same size, if not less.
Yeah, Kyoto Animation, from what I can see, has about 160 employees. So 33 deaths, that's 20% of their employees gone right there.
Yeah.
And of course, is whether or not the injured can actually come back. It is.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
and if so, it'll take.
There's a number of them that are very severely injured too.
Yeah, life-threatening injuries too.
Yeah, so if they could come back to work, it won't. They'll have to recover for quite a while first.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I know it's one of the main recovery efforts I'm just thinking of right now is just hoping that they get like adequate mental health / counseling services and whatnot. I know Japan's not super big on that, but that's why I hope that's the kind of support I hope they will get for the surviving employees, that is.
Well, yeah, I mean, an incident, again, of this magnitude being so rare in Japan, it's going to pop up in people's conversations there, I imagine, for quite some time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So hopefully with that, again, talk of recovery and, and rehabilitation, both physically and mentally, kind of enter into the public discourse because of this.
There's a number of things I'm hoping that comes from, like, on the other side of this. One, I mean, the amount of support that's come out here. I mean, you have, $1.25 million raised in a matter of 24 hours. I mean, that is absolutely massive. And that's only gonna grow from here.
Yeah, it's exploding right now.
So
We're catching it mid-explosion.
yeah, I mean the amount of support, international support. I do want to point that out.
Right. Well, because the GoFundMe, if you look through the donations, obviously a lot of people don't use their real names, but most of the donations are from the West. You know.
So
And the whole thing was set up by Sensei Filmworks, an American company.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm hoping one of the things I'm hoping is this shows the amount of support the animation industry from Japan has in its international audience. Because I don't think I obviously feel like the international audience for anime isn't heard as well as it should be.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The other thing I want to be highlighted here is security. Security. I mean, as much as a kind of lame security guard I am, we've dealt with situations like this before. We've dealt with infrastructures like this before.
Not to say I'm like situations exactly like this, no, but certain things we've experienced, I think, could have been applied to the situation to rectify it.
I mean, me personally, I've dealt with a very disgruntled ex-employee who was threatening the company, threatening the lives of the people in the company, and our technology there, the badge scanners. I mean, they were. I'm sure if somebody was actually manning the helm at the badge scanning, this could have been at least mitigated, and this could have been a lot less than what it was.
I agree with that. I think this could have been avoided entirely.
Yeah.
If you just had, again, not even a security guard, just someone just observing it all. But
I'm sure all of that will change us in the coming years and company policies and whatnot. So.
Oh yes.
Well, the card security was disabled for the day, and like we said at the top of the talk, I mean, a standard practice here for card badging systems was to give everybody a visitor pass, or to have
have an escort.
Like that's standard operating procedure here.
Right. Here a company would never shut down their badging, just because there were guests in the building.
Yeah, you don't want like a random low-level employee getting into like the boardroom or something,
or some random homeless person decides to waltz on in.
Well, according to reports, that's exactly
or in
what
the case
happened.
of this,
or in the case of this.
But common candidates outside. I know, Echo. Serious talk, honey.
It's just that lack of imagination. The Studio One is located in a residential area in a low crime city. I don't blame them for not expecting it, but hopefully they learn this time and just improve their security in their future headquarters, wherever that may be.
Yeah, I saw a report earlier. It says it was the Fushimi ward, right? That should be the same ward of Kyoto as Fushimi Inari Taisha, if I remember correctly. So there, it's pretty densely packed. Little small, row houses and businesses around there.
Yeah.
A few office buildings.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the guy was prepared if it was just a guest pass. Planned for. I mean, yeah, he definitely could have attempted. It's still
that's kind of possibility, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know if he planned that. We will never know if he planned that out to that certain extent too. But
well, I guess we'll see when he wakes up, won't we?
Yeah.
Less time for torture. Now.
Well,
ultimately, the guy was very determined, and no security is perfect.
That's true.
But
if someone is like that dead set and determined, then that can overcome a lot of procedure and technology, unfortunately.
It's not well.
Well,
Okay, drifting off the topic here. If you watch Zakura no Terror, there's one where the lot securities just break down, but that's not ideal. It's called anime. That's why it's not ideal. Because everything has to be perfect for the terrorists, and everything has to go wrong for security. And here is a little bit of luck and a little bit of bad luck on one side and the other. It's just how that happens.
I mean, going to what Leopold said, I mean, he didn't just randomly pick. He could have. It's not out of the realm of
determined yet.
Yeah. I mean, the guy hasn't answered questions, so he very well could have just got lucky, and the company was just that unlucky that this dude picked that day. It just very well may turn out to be that way.
Yeah. Again, probably wait until again press releases are issued, and statements from police are issued as well.
Killer was said, nothing is really confirmed as of yet.
Right.
You have to wait till like next day or more until to get confirmation on what exactly is the case. Why did this guy do what he did? What are the confirmed deaths and all the above?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure if you guys have the time for it, but if we can, we should have another get together discussion just like this when we do get the press releases, just to talk about implications of certain staffs and whatnot. But yeah.
Well, hopefully,
if we all have time, if we all have
time, yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be back.
That usually happens with these guys outside of Wednesdays.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll be back next Wednesday talking about other things.
Hopefully, much happier things.
We are going to have to start getting off of here. Unfortunately, me and DK have work.
Can I have the very last word after you guys do your closure?
No, you can't have the last word. This is our show.
Anyway, actually, that'd be good. That brings up a good idea. Let's, I guess, go around. They have a few final statements from chat and from our panel here about what all has transpired, and how to move forward. I think, because I think it's the time for that. The tragedy happened. Yes, the thing responsible is now in custody. He's not going to do it again.
Yeah.
So now begins to heal.
You know what? I'm gonna just try to give the shout out right now before we start to close this off. This might just come as cheesy as whatever, but to anyone who's directly associated with KyoAni, who somehow comes up on this on this video and just wants just some way somehow, or even KyoAni surviving staff themselves, like anyone's associated KyoAni themselves, if they come out there, I'm just gonna say this, and hopefully I say this right in Japanese. Ganbatte, akiyamenaide. Fight on, don't give up. We're with you. Hashtag help KyoAni. We stay strong, KyoAni.
Well said, Ryu.
Amen.
Well said. But with all that said, thank you, Fantacillion, Sal.
Thank you, Ryu, very much.
And it's time to battle. Thank you guys for coming out, hanging out,
taking time out of your Wednesday to
again
Thursday.
Today's
We're security guards. We don't keep track of days of the week.
It's all a
Friday
blur.
on my end now, so.
Oh, there you go. Even better.
We are hoping that we can return next Wednesday with possibly Ryu. We're looking at maybe getting Kumo, maybe even Fanta here again next Wednesday to get a
kind of follow this up
a little bit. Well, but that's not going to be the focus. We kind of want to do a first impressions.
Yeah, I'd like
for
to
the
do
season.
a first impressions for the season if we could.
So if you guys are interested in that, but don't forget that
That means I get to watch a lot of the first episodes.
You
Well,
could
get
just
on it.
you could just share my opinion, just say screw it, drop it all, and backlog. But you don't really have a backlog, I don't think, huh?
Well, since I'm kind of checked out for reactions until next week, I'm gonna try to
Right.
heal myself watching some KyoAni shows that I might not have touched upon yet. See if
Mm.
that makes me feel better by then. So.
So
But,
you should probably
fair enough.
refresh that GoFundMe page just to see what the progress is like now.
It's currently at $1,266,608.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice.
Good job, y'all.
Hashtag Weebforce.
Let's get double the.
There we go.
750.
There we go. Yeah, by this time next week, it'd be let's hope it's like 2-3 million. But
By the way, I want to point out that last night, this GoFundMe was the #1 trending GoFundMe,
on the whole site.
like, for about 10 hours
It might still be.
on the entire site.
Well, I mean, considering how much the news, that spread, it's not just some small, like, keep it to, like, a small blog, like Wired or something like that.
Yeah, CNN has posted.
CNN,
Right,
the BBC, it's international just news.
Yeah.
Something that I never
Such the
thought that
magnitude
I'd
of it.
see is CNN and Fox News using, talking about KyoAni and and some of Kyoto Animation's more popular series.
I've said
It's
it.
very weird.
I've said it before. I will say it again.
How do you pronounce K-On, by the way?
Keon, because it's Unbu, isn't it?
No.
KyoAni.
He is talking about the news reporters. I actually
Oh.
didn't hear them say it, but
KyoAni.
even reading an article on like CNN's website or Fox News's website, it's just so weird.
It's almost as weird as like with the whole. Sorry, I'm trying to add a little levity to this all. It's kind of like the whole like Area 51 storming thing. Hearing news outlets use the term Naruto run,
Right.
and having to explain that all.
Really?
So, I
Yeah,
know,
no,
I'm
dead
sorry.
serious. It's,
Yeah, for real, it's total cringe.
But yeah, also
For-
like,
The only way that CNN will be more aware of Moiblov. Just saying.
Oh, jeez.
yeah.
So, anyway, Ryu, you said you're checking out of reactions for a while. I want to make the announcement. Our streams are still going as scheduled, including tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time. So, I think that's what we're planning, right?
yeah.
Yeah, let's keep going with this. But yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys. We'll have a full panel next week. Hopefully, maybe Dragon Kumo on it. I don't know. We'll see how the stars align.
Depends on if Kumo is, not so busy doing reactions or something.
Right. Actually,
Right.
out there being a good YouTuber.
But yeah, don't forget to check out the GoFundMe for those of you who haven't.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't support it, share it.
Spread the word.
Spread the word.
It's free to share. Just saying.
Also, for anybody who didn't hear, you can buy digital prints directly from Kyoto Animation's website.
Those mainly free in Hibiki Euphonium.
But
If you like
those
the series.
prints. Yeah, those prints are. I think they're about 260 yen, which works out to be about 250 American.
The images are digital, so you download them after purchase, and the money goes straight to KyoAni's coffers. So there you have
No
it.
need to
Another
worry
way
about
to support.
shipping and all that. Just,
Exactly.
Just do it.
Yep.
So, Kyoto Animation press conference live.
Want a gorgeous picture of your KyoAni Wafu? Go ahead.
So Derv in our Discord just posted a stream to a press conference regarding the KyoAni situation, a live stream.
Oh, right. Okay.
So started just now. So so check out our Discord the Discord channel in the news server.
It's gonna be in Japanese. So.
Yeah, it's all in Japanese.
Oh
So,
no, it's anime without the subtitles.
what I would probably wait for somebody to tell us what was in there.
Right.
I mean, unless you know Japanese, but unfortunately, my level of understanding of the language is not that good.
Yeah.
I can only understand certain usual phrases, but not enough
Right.
where I can start up proper
I'm just in a
conversation.
full news conference.
I don't think anyone on this panel will be passing the National Japanese Proficiency Test Level 1
No
anytime
way.
soon.
I might get a few points and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe one
Any,
day.
Anyway, guys, we should really go ahead and wrap it up here.
Thank you once again to our panel for joining us. Hope to see you guys next week. Thank you guys in the chat, kind of sticking with us. And again, kind of sort of threw this together. Really, to just start healing for ourselves, to be honest, and to get the word out there about recovery fundraising efforts. And again, if you can contribute, please do. If not, please share, spread the word. And again, Ryu said it best. KyoAni, ganbatte.